everyone. Jax West from Stephen Avery Project and Justice with Jax and MAM Gossip on Facebook and Justice with Jax here on YouTube. I've been slacking in organizing these videos, so we didn't have this one set up in advance. And I'm supposed to be going live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central. And I've been a little busy lately, so I haven't sup cat. So I haven't been able to do things properly. So sorry that things have been kind of up in the air and you never know for sure if I'm going to be here or not, and that I didn't make this video in advance so it would be easy to find what we're doing this week. So I'm not going to go into the Melissa Calusinski case. You can go into the folders we have here. There's a whole folder on the Melissa Calusinski case where we've done videos before where we've talked about her case. If anybody while we are live here has any questions about the case, you can do that now. Otherwise, all I wanted to talk about today is I did just visit Melissa on Monday. And so I wanted to talk about how the visit went, and I want to bitch about the prison. So, I like to use my powers, Bryce, to bitch and moan about things. So, this was my first visit with Melissa in a couple of months because they were put on lockdown again due to COVID. And so they just started opening things back up. But to go on the visit, I still can't just go when I want. You have to schedule a visit in advance on the computer, and it has to be scheduled a minimum of 7 days in advance. And I never like to schedule my visits until I have scheduled Melissa's parents. Because and Melissa's parents and I are the only ones that visit her, so it's not like you're really in jeopardy of using up all her visits, but I like to try and space them out that she doesn't have both of our visits in the same week. Um, so I like it to be they visit a week and then there's a space of a week and then my visit, to because that's the only time she gets to get out of the everyday prison routine. So, and they're still doing the visits where allegedly the first two time slots are for people that are vaccinated, both the visitors and the inmate. And then the afternoon slots are supposed to be for those idiots. Sorry if you don't get vaccinated, you're an idiot. Um, um, for the people who are unvaccinated. Okay. They also seem to remember, I'm very bad with numbers. They seem to have shortened the visit time. So now my time slot was 8:30 to 11, which okay, so and it's a 2-hour 15-minute drive for me. So I get there. And the way their rules are is I can't wear a mask into the prison as soon as you walk in to the guest house. Um, they've got masks right there and you have to put on their mask and then you sign in, and then so you sign in where you have to put your name, what time you got there, what your license plate says, and what is the make and model of your car, and then you need to put the inmate's name and their inmate number. Then you walk through the metal detector that doesn't work. I don't even know why it's there. It's weird. So you walk through the metal detector and you go on the other side, and that's where they're going to take an accounting of what you have on. So you can wear jewelry in. You can't wear a smartwatch because you can't bring a cell phone in. But if you had a regular watch, I guess you could wear that, and you can have jewelry, but then they need to count it and mark down what it is. So I try to make sure I'm not wearing any jewelry. Then if you have anything in your hair, I call it a ponytail holder. They always everybody most everybody else calls it a hair tie. I call it a ponytail holder. So um so they need to count all that's there. Then they write down the color of your shirt, also color of your coat if you're wearing one, and then color of your belt, and then the color of your shoes. And you have to give them your driver's license and your keys, and then you need to bring in your commissary card. And your commissary card also is assigned to you, and it has a number on it. And it's just a plastic card like a credit card. Um, and they have to write down what your commissary card number is. And then they keep your keys and hang it up and put a number on it. But you bring your license and your commissary card with you. And if you've brought money to put on the commissary card, you have to do it right there in the guest house before you get to go to the building that the visitations are in. So, and then that's like an ATM machine that you put your card in, and it tells you what your balance is on your card, and then you can put cash on it. Or I can put money on Melissa's account there. So in the future, if anybody ever wants me to put money on Melissa's account, let me know, because I can do it right there. I can also do it online. Um, you're not allowed to bring cash into the prison. It has to go on your card, and all you can have is your card. So, first mistake I made is I thought, since COVID restrictions here in Illinois are lightening up, that I wouldn't need my vaccination card. And so then they're like, "You need your vaccination card." And I was like, "Oh, crap," but I always keep it with me. Mine's always in my purse. So I went out to the car, got my vaccination card, came back in, and so then you have to wait until everybody who is coming for that shift is there. Or after they write everything down, blah blah blah, then because there's always a female officer and a male officer, and then there's this little teeny tiny room, and then the female officer will bring the women in one at a time, where all they do is they make me face the wall. Your feet are shoulder width apart, so you stand up straight and your arms like that, and they just go like this, pat me down on the sides. um Every officer is different. Sometimes I get a better pat down, and then other times they're just like, "You're good." And, it's like if I totally wanted to smuggle something in, I could have. Some officers will make me take my shoes off. And then while I'm standing like this, I have to pick up one foot, and show them the bottom of my feet, each foot. And then they want to take my shoe and shake it and make sure nothing's in there. Um, some officers, if you have a coat on, they want you to take your coat off so they can shake that and touch you separately, and other ones want you to leave it on. So so you get through the shakedown, and then you wait in the room till they're done with everybody, and then one officer will walk you. Well, so there was this young, I call her young. She was probably in her early 20s. This young girl there. I don't know if this is her first visit or what. But she was standing at the commissary machine, and another woman was, "Hey Nana, thumbs up." Um was standing over there with her. And um Then they had said to me, they were kind of standing there and I was looking at them, it looked like they were having a problem, but I wasn't sure. And then they turned around and they said, "Do you know how to use this?" And I said, "Oh, sure." And then so the young girl, because it was a young girl and then not an old woman, probably she was probably around my age. Um but it turns out they weren't together. These are, two strangers. And so the young girl said, "How do you get the card? How do you get the card?" And I'm like, "Oh, you have to get that from the officers." And so the other woman said, "Oh, I she's like, "It's been a long time for me, but I thought this gave you the card." And I said, "No, you have to get it from the officers and it's like $5." And they charge you for the piece of plastic card. Anything to make money off of people, I guess. So then the young girl goes back over to the officers and so hello. Um and all she has is whatever bill or something that she was gonna put on the card, and they're like, "No, you need $5." So $5 on top of whatever her money was. And so the girl's, like, mortified or whatever, and I said, "I don't know, I might have $5 in my car." I'm like, "Is there time for me?" Because also, I don't want them to screw me out of my visit if I now go walk all the way back out to the parking lot to my car, and then I'll be like, we've already taken them in and we're only gonna make 1 trip, so you don't blah, blah, blah," so that's why I'm asking. "Hello, Brenda." Um, like, "Do I have time to go to my car and see if I have $5 for her?" And, the officer was a jagoff, and he says, "Doesn't matter to me, you're the one that's gonna lose time in your visit for it." And it's like, whatever. And then he goes, "And you're gonna have to get shake down again." Oh, be still my heart, like I fucking care. Um, so me and the girl walk out to my car. I go in my purse. It turns out I only had 3 singles. I had a 20 and 3 singles. And then I'm like, "Here." And then I went through my change and got her $2 in quarters. And so we go back in and she hands that to them and they go, "No, it can only be a $5 bill." Are you fucking kidding me right now? So now this girl's on a visit with whomever, and she can't buy her friend, family member, whoever it is, her loved one, let's just put it that way, her loved one, um, any food because they won't take 3 singles and 8 quarters. It has to only be a $5 bill. What is the purpose of that? You don't need to charge for that piece of plastic anyway, because they ask you when you're done, they want you to turn those cards back in. You don't have to, but they expect you to turn it in. Um, that's ridiculous. And then they won't let us buy any food for them while they're on their visit because if I I've gotten Melissa's never gotten punished, but she's been warned at times when I've just tried to help people in the visitors room, not in the check-in place. She's been threatened when I've gone to help somebody, like somebody wasn't sure how to use their commissary card in this vending machine, and I was talking to them and explaining to them, and they're like, "No talking. She's gonna get a point or whatever it is that they're gonna do to her because I'm not supposed to talk to the other people there." So that's one thing that annoyed me because I don't know how far that girl drove. For me, like I said, it's a 2-hour, 15-minute drive one way down there. And then, I don't stay there after the visit. I drive back home, so a lot of driving in one day to, and these inmates count on these visits to get s- some extra food. That's not whatever the prison gives them. And because it's not a $5 bill, they wouldn't take it. Okay. Then the whole mask thing. I am not a COVID denier. I am triple vaxxed. I will wear my mask when I know I'm going to be around a whole bunch of weirdos that are anti vaxxers. I've got no problem when somebody wants me to put a mask on, I'll put a mask on. But I have been so infuriated with what how the prison has been handling this pandemic because the inmates are suffering for it. Because you've got the guards who get to come and go and you don't make them get vaccinated and they don't fucking wear masks. So now I have to wear a mask when I'm in there, triple vaxxed, and I have to show them the proof that I'm vaccinated, and every officer I saw there isn't wearing masks. How does that make any sense? And so every time there's a COVID outbreak, and it seems to be constant at the prison, as soon as it seems like it's starting to get better, it starts all over again. And it's not the inmates' fault. They're not going anywhere to catch COVID from anywhere. They're locked up. It's the officers who get to come and go every day, and you're not making them be vaccinated or wear masks. So therefore, they keep infecting these girls, these women. And now they lose out on visits with their loved ones because of it. It is so infuriating to me. So, when I get into the room to visit with Melissa, the visit always starts with, typically Melissa's already sitting at our the whatever table they've assigned us for the visit. And then she'll stand up and you're able to hug, so I hug her and then she goes, "I am so glad you're here." She's like, "I've got really bad anxiety right now. I am freaking out and I need you to calm me down." And I said, "Why? What's going on?" And she said, "They're shaking down my unit." Now, Melissa's not being targeted by the prison. This is, you know, a regular thing. And they had been working on the whole prison. And the way Melissa's prison is it's a whole bunch of different buildings over a canvas, big forest area. Um, so it's not like you see typically in TV where it's, the big stone building with the multiple floors and all that. It's all one level, buildings that, so each one of these housing units, they call it left wing, right wing, and center wing, how it's all divided. So they've been going from, building to building, but and Melissa is somebody who is not a rule breaker. She's now I've never seen her cell. I I don't I never wanna call it a cell because it's not what you typically think, again, of a prison cell. Movies have ruined me where you think somebody's behind bars and, it's not bars, it's walls and a door, but, Melissa doesn't break any of the rules, and you're not supposed to have your stuff out in your room. You get a box, and I think you're able to get 2 boxes, actually. So, one would have your toiletries and one, for your other stuff. Melissa, all her stuff can fit in a box. M Lots of other inmates, especially people who have been there Melissa's been there 13 years, that you accumulate things or whatever. So, a lot of people can't fit all their stuff in a box. Melissa can, because she also I'll ask her all the time, "Do you need anything? Can I get you anything?" "No, I'm good." She's she's I mean, how can you be materialistic in prison? But Melissa doesn't try to take advantage of supporters or anything. She's just good. She doesn't need anything. If she asks me for something, she really needs it. Um, so she's so worried when she gets back to her room if she's gonna have her stuff. And I asked, "How has the shakedowns been?" Because it's all depending on what officers are doing it. If they're gonna be douchebags and just destroy the women's stuff just for the hell of it because did some power trip, exact words, just destroy thing like, there's a rule you're not supposed to hang anything on the walls, but it's not a rule that's typically enforced. unless you get a douchebag that comes in. And so there has been times over the years that they've ripped people's stuff down, pictures somebody's drawn for them or pictures they've drawn. Um, it's so sad. Um, Melissa is an artist. Oh, I should have found before I went live where I set the pictures she drew of the butterflies for me. Um, but Melissa has a art supplies. And she's telling me she's got a lot of art supplies she hasn't even used. Um, um, and I'm always on her. For years, I've been telling her I want her to draw more. Not only is she a talented artist, I think it would be something to help her get her mind off of things, to just get her mind in, creating whatever masterpiece, that she's drawing at the time. So I have sent her art books before, I've sent her art supplies, really trying to encourage her to, let go and draw. And she'll do things like she's drawn a portrait of her parents and send it to her parents as a gift. A couple years ago, I think it was an anniversary gift, and she told me she sent her mom another picture recently, and um so she's worried she's gonna lose her stuff, and whether or not it's just things that can fit in a box, so I mean, I probably have more stuff on my desk right here than Melissa has in her cell, you know, but that's her whole world. These are all her belongings, and they're important to her. And Melissa's got very sensitive skin, and also then when, she gets upset, she'll itch, and so then you'll see on the visit, it's like her whole neck was turning red, and then it's irritated, and then the whole visit, she's, struggling with the neck and, going to scratch it, and then, of course, scratching is making it worse and making it bigger, and it kills me because Melissa is such a sweet, sweet girl who has had such horrible things happen to her, and she shouldn't have to worry about anything else. And so I haven't heard from her yet. My visit was just on Monday, and emails, you don't know how long it takes to come, because they check them first before they send them out and all that. So I she may call me tomorrow. I don't know. But if I hear from her that she's lost anything, I'm going to replace it for her. Um, Whether or not she uses the art supplies, I'm sure it's a comfort to her that she has it, you know, and Melissa is just that type of person that she's just saving it. So she has it, and she knows she has it, and it probably makes her feel better to have it. Um, so that ticked me off. Next thing is, we've talked about this before. It is just vending machine food there. So to you and I, it's crap. But to Melissa and all the other inmates, it's a treat. And the building we're in is long and narrow, and the room is divided in half by a little hallway that goes to the bathrooms. And then the door to enter, that the visitors enter from, is directly across from the bathroom door, where so the bathroom would be straight ahead, and then when you walk in, right to the left is where the little guard desk is, that's up on a riser. And so then there's tables on both the left and the right side, depending where they place you, and there's vending machines along the wall on both sides. And a lot of it's the same stuff on both sides, but then there's some different stuff. So and the inmates are not allowed to walk over by the vending machines. So they can't even if they wanted to do something like your visitor has to stay seated while the inmate goes over and looks at it so the inmate can come over and go, "This is what I would like." So then the visitor has to go over to the vending machines and look, and then, sometimes depending on what's going on, I'll just yell to her, "Did you want this?" Or you have to then go back going, "Okay, over there, there's a this, or whatever." Um, One side, the left side vending machines aren't even turned on. No food, no nothing, no options over there. On the right side, there's an ice cream machine is the first one. It's the only ice cream machine, and that hasn't been filled since before the pandemic. Once the pandemic started, when visits did start up again at one point, it wasn't on then. So still no ice cream. And then the ones that are now have food in them, they're like half full. This is ridiculous. I and Melissa, bless her heart, she'll say, I understand it's prison, it's not supposed to be easy for us, so she's not gonna complain that, the spicy hot, Fritos or whatever. She loves the spicy stuff. Um, she usually wants something like that, and it's not there, so she's like, "But I get it, it's prison." Yeah, well, I don't get it because they shouldn't be treated like that. We're paying for the food there, and it's a vending machine that's jacked up in cost anyway. You're making money off of it. Plus, you've already charged us $5 to even have the stupid card. So, my visit time with Melissa was great. I try to talk to her about different things we don't talk about the case. I just try to talk to her on other things to get her mind off of things. That's it. That's my purpose. And if I can make her laugh, I feel like it's a job well done. So um we talked at length about drawing this time. And we've talked about drawing before, but since she was worried about her art supplies. So I was asking her questions on, how she starts a drawing and what does she really like to draw and things like that. So trying to get her into her artist brain and thinking about that and not thinking about maybe they're destroying all her stuff in her room, her worldly possessions. Right, Kat, and that's where we go, is this a punishment or rehabilitation or what? And if you treat somebody like a dog long enough, how are they gonna behave? And Melissa is innocent, and everybody there knows it. We also talked about, okay, because it's political season, and so 2 people involved in her case, the stupid Judge Shanes, and then the guy that was the sheriff, um, what's his name? Mark Curran? These 2 douchebags are running against each other to be Illinois Supreme Court judge. And one of them, Curran, so the guy that was the sheriff, he put an article in a paper. They're both Republican. Um, he put an article in a Republican web fake newspaper, um, saying he brought up Melissa's case in that and that they know she's innocent. I blew my stack at that one, and I sent the article to the current state's attorney. Um, because the state's attorney is the one that And it's really odd who the Lake County State's attorney is too, because, since I am very involved in politics, we travel in the same circles. And he and I have had conversations which are really difficult too, because I can't talk about Melissa's case or anything with him, because I can't do any, I don't wanna do anything to ruin the case. So we'll talk, so we have had things where we've had to discuss other things that are happening in our political world. But when this happened, I had to send him the information. And then he just said, "Okay, thank you for sending it." Um, and I sent it to Zellner too. Because really? So you're the sheriff, and you're saying you and the judge on the case both knew she was innocent. Yet here she is, 13 years later, still in prison. Still no court date. I don't know for sure where Melissa's case is. We had gone to court, and then she had a court date, and then the pandemic happened. And it's waiting, waiting, waiting for a date. Sheila, I'm really new to this case. Okay, so Sheila, the best place that I would say um, is you can go to Kathleen Zellner is her attorney. So you can go to KathleenTZellner.com. And when you're on that page, then she's got her most notable cases, the different names. And so you click on Melissa's name, Melissa Calusinski, starts with a C. And then she'll have links there. And so Melissa's case has been covered twice by 48 hours. I think you can also look here on YouTube for the 2 48 hours episodes, but sometimes some of the links don't have the whole episode, so you've got to, so I think Kathleen's website's got the real good one. So one is called Blaming Melissa, and the other one is called The Fight for Melissa. And then the other thing that you can see, you can get the link on Kathleen's page, is when we went to court, the last time we went to court for Melissa, for the first time in Illinois appellate or whatever court it was history, they allowed a camera in the courtroom. They only allowed one camera in there that then all the press would have to they only got that one. And press was there, and press was generally seated like along the side where, I guess, if a jury trial was going on, that's where they all were. And then Erin Moriarty from 48 Hours, who both episodes of Melissa's case is covered by Ellen Moriarty, she flew in for it and filmed too, for because eventually she's going to do another episode on Melissa, when something happens with the case. So that's how, like, I actually saw them at first when we're sitting in the um lounge area of the courthouse waiting till we can get let into the courtroom. You saw Kathleen was walking with Erin Moriarty, and then there were a camera and a sound guy. So the camera guy was walking backwards, filming them as they were walking up to the courtroom. And then I took a picture of Melissa's dad with Erin Moriarty afterwards. Um, and then um, Kathleen Zellner did a press conference after um, the hearing was over, and 48 Hours filmed that as well. So whenever Erin Moriarty goes to cover Melissa's case again, she'll have that stuff to show. But you can watch that. The link is on Kathleen's page. So, and it is Kathleen, and then her associate, Doug, is at the table with her. And then Melissa's family and me. Yay, I get to just because Melissa's dad just always tells the court and everything that I'm family. So we're sitting right behind Kathleen and Doug. So go there. That is the best place, and it's fair coverage on Melissa's case and what the state has done in doctoring evidence and Melissa's forced confession. People always say, I would never admit to doing something I didn't do, but you just don't know until you're in that situation. You um while Melissa has her own um issues that mm, her IQ isn't as low as Brendan's, but she's got her own things going on that maybe you would say she's more susceptible to being tricked by law enforcement. You still just don't know, because like another case, Marnie Yang, who's there. Marnie is really smart. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met, I would say, and she confessed to something, and I am not an advocate with her team any longer, but it doesn't change that I know I have seen the evidence and Marnie is innocent, and that is a false confession. The exonerated 5 that used to be called the Central Park 5, they were forced to a false confession. It happens all the time. And that's all they have on Melissa is her coerced confession, because any medical evidence they have, it's all been disproven. So, but back to her being so worried that they're shaking down her cell, and I had said to her, because she's like, "I don't know why," and I'm like, "Melissa, it's totally understandable. You're in prison for something you didn't do, and everybody you should be able to trust screwed you over. So it's totally understandable that you're worried that a shakedown on in your cell. Okay, she knows she doesn't have anything, but it doesn't mean somebody couldn't plant something in there, because Melissa refuses to get involved in any of the drama in prison, because prison is like anywhere else. There's always drama. There's always going to be bullies, and there's always going to be, people who, just love to start something. Melissa wants no part of any of it. She keeps to herself. She's had the same bunkie for years now, and she considers her bunkie like her sister, and that's really all she talks to. She doesn't want to get pulled into anything. So, there's people that don't like her because she won't get involved in their crap. And then of course there's going to be people who don't like her because now I've been visiting for her for 5 years. Um, I have been talked to by I don't know how many officers or the people who um do the vending machines, everything. They're like, "When is Melissa going home?" They all know she's innocent. They all talk about it. So, I'm sure there'd be some inmates that would be bothered by that. Melissa's been on TV. It is the worst thing for people if your case has been covered on TV and that their TVs in the prison get it, because oh my god, and when it's a hatchet job, Marnie Yang, um, there was something that covered her case, and it was completely wrong, everything they were saying, and things showing like she's guilty, and it's like, and now people are picking on her. And in both Melissa and Marnie's cases, children died. So that makes it even worse for them. So it's Melissa's case last year was covered by Dr. Oz. I can't stand Dr. Phil from what he did to Stephen. And then Dr. Oz covered Melissa's case last year. Did an okay job with it. you know, um, but now he's become a whack job. So whatever. But Melissa like was cringing because also you you don't get an advanced copy or anything to know how a show is going to cover your case. So she doesn't know what the other inmates are now going to do to her if they see the episode, you know? So, and then Melissa has had, you have people who come to film you for whatever. That's not good for them either. There's a lot of people in prison who their case doesn't ever get Netflix calling or whoever, 48 hours. So that was my visit with Melissa. She didn't want to have too much food. She never does though, because she's always, trying to keep herself in shape. And Melissa is very religious, and she's given up chocolate for Lent. So where we were seated was right in front of a vending machine that did have a bunch of chocolate in it. And she's like, oh, this is so hard, with all the chocolate right there. But she didn't have any chocolate. She wanted the fake egg McMuffin, um, whatever that was, and Harvest chips, the cheddar Harvest chips. And then finally she was able to get a cherry Pepsi, because I don't think I've been able to get her a cherry Pepsi since before the pandemic. When visitations came back, the cherry Pepsi just was never working. So she finally got a cherry Pepsi. She was looking forward to She's down more southern Illinois, where I'm up by Chicago. So, they're warmer down there than it is up here but today is supposed to, what is it right now? 68 degrees. So I'm in shorts and a tank top. So she was looking forward to the nice weather down there. And she says she still would like to what she would like to do when she's free is she would like to become a weather person. She wants to take classes, um, and she's very interested in the weather. So we talk about the weather a lot, so most people think when you talk about the weather, it's because you have nothing else to talk about. Nice day out there, isn't it? But no, Melissa is very interested in the weather and talking about the different stuff that I don't understand. Uh, so so she's hoping that she'll be able to get outside, and that her job will become more interesting, because her job at the prison is she's like pest removal. And she says all they have currently, like she takes care of and stuff, is a brown snake, and then there's a toad and a frog. She's had kittens and stuff she's taken care of before. And what really upsets me is Melissa's prison does the same thing that a lot of prisons do, where inmates are allowed to have a dog that they're training to be, a companion dog for somebody or whatever. And Melissa would love to do that, but they won't allow her due to the severity of her crime, because her crime is against a child. So they say she can't be around a dog, but they'll let her get the snakes and the rabbits, and she had kittens at one point that were there. So but with the weather getting nicer, it means she'll be able to walk some more outside and enjoy the weather. But all right, I'm going to call this one to a close, cuz I'm going to Chicago. Actually, I've got a friend who lives right by, she's like 2 blocks away, 3 blocks away from Lake Michigan. And so she had texted me last night, and she's like, "What are you doing for tomorrow's um weather?" or whatever she had said. And so then I had said to my husband, I'm like, "Is it supposed to be nice tomorrow?" I haven't looked at the weather. I've been doing these numbers and stuff for politics for the last week. Um and so I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be like 70 degrees." And she's like, "You want to come down and we'll walk by the lake with she's got 2 puppies. We'll take the puppies for a walk on the lake, and so I'm like, "Well, I have to do this live video, I can head down after." So, I'm literally when I end this, I'm gonna let my dogs out, and, then when they're done, get in the car, head to Chicago, and spend a couple hours with my friend that I haven't she used to live out here in the suburbs, and she moved to Chicago, and, so I see her more in the better weather, but I probably gosh, when's the last time I saw her? Maybe 2 months ago? I don't know. So, but that's today. I do not know what we'll cover next Wednesday. I know I have that whole schedule that I made, and then we're not following it. So if anybody has something they really want me to cover, let me know. I'm kind of back to just winging it on what we do. Um, oh, there's been more, not Stephen Avery drama, but Stephen Avery people drama in the last couple days. But I don't want to open that can of worms now because I'm supposed to be at her house in 45 minutes. Uh, so, I don't know. We'll see what happens this week and if more happens in that whole Stephen Avery stuff, so maybe we'll be covering that, but it was people asking me to help them because 'cause they're getting picked on, and it's whatever. Like I said, I'm not gonna open that all up right now because I gotta go. But write to Melissa. We need to get the picture posted again. If you'd like to write to her, and you can talk to her, if you're an artist, talk to her, what you like to draw, and do you use acrylic or whatever? I don't know. I'm not an artist. My friend that actually I'm going to her house now, she's an art teacher, and she actually went to the Art Institute in Chicago, and now she's a member. So I go with her to the Art Institute all the time. And so I talked about the Art Institute with Melissa, and so she absolutely wants me to take her. Here, let me pull up over here on my other screen right now if it'll go. Let's go so I can pull up what Melissa's address is. Okay. So let me type it as I'm saying it. Melissa Calusinski, and her inmate numbers are 88005. And she is at Logan Correctional Center, which is P.O. Box 1000, Lincoln, I should put a comma, Illinois, 65, oops, nope, it's not 5, 62656. So you put Melissa Kaluzinski and then the R88005 on one line, then Logan Correctional Center, P.O. Box 1000, Lincoln, Illinois, 62656. So I always tell people if you write to anybody in prison, make sure you write your return address also on your letter, because when the prison rips open your stuff, they might destroy your return address, and then she won't know how to write you back if she so wishes. Please don't get mad at her if she doesn't write you back. Same with any inmate you go to write, because there's trust issues and all of that. So maybe she'll write to you, maybe she won't. So you can write to her and talk to her about being an artist, the weather. She loves horror movies, and we talk every week. That's also why I scheduled my visit to be on a Monday, The Walking Dead. And The Walking Dead coming to an end really upsets her too, because it's so bizarre to her is that it is aired. It's her whole time in prison. So, she loves The Walking Dead. So, you can talk to her about The Walking Dead and the spinoffs if you watch those as well. So, all right. Um, off to go to Chicago and have some fun with my friend in the good weather. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And we will talk next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central about what? I don't know. And if I pop on earlier, it'll because something's happened. We bring you the news if something happens in any of the cases that we cover immediately. So that's why you need to like and subscribe. So maybe YouTube will notify you if I do a surprise live that you're not expecting. So you'll know I'm here. So, all right, everybody, I'm out. Thank you. Investigation continues.